Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be taking a look at this Series X with a busted HDMI port. This was sent in by a business-to-business customer, the Laptop Doctor in Datchet. Thank you very much for sending this one in. Let's get onto the blue mat, see what we've got, get this torn down and get the job done. So if you look at this side of the HDMI port, which will be the right hand side, there is a slight chunk taken out of that. It's quite common on the Series X, so I'm not worried. First thing we've got to do is get this one torn down. I'm just using some low heat, try and get this sticker off without sticking a screwdriver through it. It's a bit of a pet hate in the industry. As you can see, with a little bit of heat, we can get to that sticker without a problem. There you go, that's lovely. Same again with this one down here. This one doesn't always come off as cleanly, but we can put that down with some glue afterwards. Lift that back off, a little bit of dust in there, nothing too major to worry about at all. A little clip in here, we can just lift up, twist the back and pull that off. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 3 green screws, 2 black screws to remove. There's a little bit of dust coming out of this console, but nothing to worry about. 1 black screw for the fan here. 1 screw there, and a fan screw there to get this fan unclipped. These 2 cables, the fat one, this one, there's a clip just underneath it, which needs pulling towards you. And then gently ease the cable out. The small one, there's a clip that you push in and just remove like so. Get this bit off. Disconnect the disk drive. Pull out the fan, take a look at that. That's not bad at all, but we can give this a service as we go. Fold that back there and then pull out the guts of the console. Take this board off next. Different kinds of screws, so just be mindful when you're putting it back on of which screw is for where. We can just unclip there we go. Have a little bit of a tidy up as we go. Nobody likes a messy desk, unless you're the coder, in which case he loves a messy desk. So for me, what I like to do is, I know where these screws go now, but out of habit, I always mark up just with a Sharpie where these black screws go. That's all the black screws, and then the silver ones are longer ones. And then what we can do is just lift that lid, disconnect 1 power adapter, disconnect the other, and we can lift that off as one complete unit. more black screws, so we'll just mark up. Pinch both sides of that cable and then that should come out. Don't actually think I needed to take this plate off, but it's off now, so we'll leave it off. And then these boards should split apart. Be careful with that ribbon cable. Now this plate is horrendous. Every little indent, there's several of them going around. Just give that a little lift up and unclip. Take your time with it, no need to go full ham on this, and it helps if you've got a nice pair of tweezers. And you'll see the ones it's caught on. It's always a bit of fun and games. There we go, bit of gentle persuasion, and then poke these back to being straight. It's not my console, it's a customer's console, so it should go back close to stock as it was originally, not with a bent plate. Nobody likes a bent plate. Now we can release these 4 screws. Just gonna take the pressure off of each one. That is stuck on there. I've never had one that stuck. Holy, that was really stuck. Get this APU roughly cleaned off and do the same this side. So we now need to remove this HDMI port, and to do that I found the easiest way is to use some hot air. Here's the issue with the hot air. Under here, this tiny grey chip here, this is the ESDIC, and you can't get them unless they're on a donor. To remove, we really want to go from underneath. Sometimes I do go in from the top because the port is damaged. What harm is it going to do? So let's get set up. We'll get under the microscope, we'll have a look at what we've got going on, and fingers crossed we get this one done without too much of an issue. So to remove this port, I'm going to put some flux around the ground pins and all around the port, which will just help it to come off. Right, we've got the hot air station set at 430. We'll come on in from underneath. I'm going to see how we get on with that to start with. You should see that flux start to move around. These boards take a lot of heat. Just come in from the top, see if we can get that to start moving. There we go, now we've got movement. It's not exactly necessary, but while the board's hot, try and get rid of this yellow marker. Now while the board's as hot as it can possibly be, let's get some decent solder over all of these points. Just get a big boy tip in there, clean that tip off. Lots of flux, lots of heat, and just get that old solder mixed with the new stuff. Really get it in those ground holes. And don't forget these anchor points either. Go, just get all of that. Next step, as always, clean up. So much easier to do when the board is hot. Just some 99% IPA. So we've got a nice new Series X port there, good quality OEM part. And we'll just prepare this board, take that port with some flux. Now to install the port, we want to go from underneath because we want to see that solder melt, being mindful of that ESDIC at all times. You see that starting to melt. You want to see all the solder is molten, starting to go. So we'll come in with this port. Sure that port is sat down, put a bit of pressure on there. So nudge test on these pins. And all of those pins are solid. Good. Let's give this a clean up. Coming back in with the IPA, all of that flux cleaned up. There we go. Right, back on the overhead. What we need to do now is give this a good clean. To clean the APU, just got a soft bristle brush, some IPA. Don't have to get every last little bit out, but as much as you can. Come back in with a clean room cloth. Just go around there. Clean without going around with a pair of tweezers, which I could do, but there really is no need. Come back in with the heatsink, clean room cloth. Give yourself 2 clean surfaces. I'm not saying a word. Sit that back on there. We'll get this assembled enough to test and then come back to you when we're ready to hit the button. Always forget to do it. Just loosen these off. We're going to tempt fate here because I'm going to put it together. I'm going to put all of the screws in it without having tested it, and that really is tempting fate. But we've done a good job, so there's no reason why it shouldn't work. Before we carry on, let's get rid of some of the dust in here. Thinking about YouTube videos and forgetting bits. If you can appreciate how much brain space you have to put into thinking about your repair and videos, please do. Drop us a comment, drop us a like, it would be appreciated. There's so many guys that make it look so simple, and I can promise you it is anything but simple. Hit record, get it done, edit the video. We're at a point where we can test this. So let's get you on the upright, plug in HDMI lead, nice solid fixing, plug in some power. We got power, as you can see, fan is spinning. Let's get you over here. Do we get display? Perfect, we've got display. Let's just sync a controller, skip tile in, and we will go. TV and display options, 1080p. Do we get 4K? Perfect, we get 4K. Right, let's turn this off and continue with the reassembly. That way. Tiny dab of glue here. Shh, don't tell Microsoft. It looks like it's never been opened. Perfect. Final test. Awesome. Thanks for watching. If you need a repair like this one, all the links for contacting us will be in the description below. Thanks again to the Laptop Doctor in Datchet for sending this over as a business-to-business job. We really do appreciate you sending it in. And until the next time, take care of yourselves and each other.